Hey guys, so it is nearly 10 months since starting maternity leave for me, and it has been such an amazing journey. Not to say that there hasn't been tough days and sleep deprivation and everything that comes along with having a newborn baby. However, it really has been such a special time, and I'm really grateful to myself for setting things up financially beforehand so that personal finances haven't really been a huge concern during this special time. If you are new here, then I do have a couple of other videos talking about maternity leave and finances, so do check out the maternity playlist that I've linked down below if you're interested in that, where I go more specifically into things like pay and benefits that you can get. But in today's video, I thought I would just touch on a few different things that could be really helpful to you during maternity leave to kind of keep those finances up, or just kind of keep yourself in a good mental health space. So yeah, let's get into it. So keep in touch days. Funnily enough, my keep in touch days are just about to come up. So keep in touch days are days that you can take on your maternity leave to basically go back to work without stopping your maternity leave. So you can take up to 10 keep in touch days in total. So maybe you decide to do 1 or 2, or you can do the full 10 if you want. But these are just basically days for you to keep in touch. You and your manager, or you and your employer, can kind of discuss what you may do on those days. I've heard people say that you don't actually necessarily have to work the full day as it is for it to be considered a keep in touch day, but again, that's probably something that you would need to discuss specifically with your employer. But yeah, you've got up to 10 of these days, and they are paid at full pay unless you've set it up in a way where it's half pay because you're doing half a day, for instance. But yeah, this is a great way to get some extra money in your pocket. So as I am currently on no pay at this current moment, I'm not even on SMP, so these keep in touch days are going to be really helpful to our finances. So personally for me, it made the most sense to do this right at the end, or towards the end of my maternity leave, because I wanted a smooth transition kind of back into work. So I'll do my 10 keep in touch days, which is 2 weeks worth of work, and then I've got, I think, about 5 or 6 weeks before I then officially go back to work. So I feel like it's a nice taster, a nice way for me to kind of ease myself back into the workplace and the working world, especially when you've been in babyland for all these months. So I'm really looking forward to that. And again, because I'm at that part of maternity leave where there's no pay, this is really a godsend. So if this is not something you've heard of, definitely look it up. It's on the UK government website, because this is, I think all employers have to offer this, but I think it's a great benefit to make use of, and I'm so glad that we have this available, because it will help us out big time. The second point to make is to not forget to use your annual leave. So when you are on maternity leave, you are still an employee, so you're still accruing the annual leave that you would normally. So if you usually get 25 days and you're on maternity leave for the year, then you will get 25 days while you are on maternity leave. So in my personal case, my annual leave renews at the beginning of each calendar year. So as I will be returning to work at the end of this year, I need to use all of my annual leave before the next calendar year, because then I'll get another set again. So this is just something to work out with the employer, work out with HR, but to make sure you use what you're entitled to, and to not lose any days at all in case some don't roll over. So just double and triple check that. I know that some people decide to use their annual leave in a way where they gradually go back to work, and so in the first month back to work they only work half days, or they don't work Fridays, or something like that, in order to use up their annual leave. So there are lots of different ways that you can do it, but just make sure that you use them. The great thing about being on maternity leave is that you get free prescriptions. So the entire time that you're pregnant, and the 12 months after your baby is born, you are entitled to free prescriptions and free dental care. So these are 2 benefits that are fabulous and should be used. So yeah, I remember actually I felt quite weird about this when I first went to go and get a prescription when I was pregnant, and I knew that I was exempt. I had to wait for my maternity exemption certificate, by the way. I think that was only after my 20-week appointment or something, I got a maternity exemption certificate, because if you start getting free prescriptions before that point, I think you can be penalised. That may not be correct, but that's what I read somewhere. So make sure you have your maternity exemption certificate. You don't have to carry it with you, but once you have that, you know you're in the system, essentially, to kind of back you up as to why you're getting free prescriptions. But yeah, I remember the first time that I went and got a free prescription and they said, do you pay? And I usually do pay. And I was like, no. I felt so sheepish about it. I was like, no, I'm not paying. I've got maternity exemption. And they were like, oh, cool. Now I'm just like, no, don't pay. I've got maternity exemption. These things are there to be used. So yeah, make good use of that. Now this one is kind of a weird one, but I think it's important to state because I only found this out about 2 weeks ago and I was quite upset. So the NHS have now set it up where you can self-refer yourself to physio related to anything that may have been caused due to pregnancy. So I've written down a few of the things. So if you have things such as a bulge or heaviness down below, pelvic or back pain, leaking from your bladder, if you had a C-section, you're having difficulties, or if you feel there is a gap between your tummy muscles, all these things you can actually self-refer yourself. There's a form online, you can self-refer to get seen by a physiotherapist. I did not know this, so I've kind of got to run around for the past 3 to 4 months to get seen by a physiotherapist, which is really annoying because when I finally got to see the physio that I needed to see, she said, did you know you can self-refer? And I was like, no, nobody told me this. And you know, she said it's kind of a new thing. There's lots of people in the NHS that don't know about this, including GPs. So get the word out there was actually what she told me. So I thought it would be important to add this into this video. If you do think there's anything amiss or you're not sure, go see a physio. Again, it's a free service. You can self-refer. I think you're always better to kind of err on the side of caution than, you know, think, oh no, I think this may be okay. In my case, I have a separation in my tummy muscles and I was pretty sure that I did have that. And when I first went to the GP, she was like, no, you just need to work out. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's what it is. But again, it took months to get seen by who I needed to get seen by, and I could have simply just self-referred. I could have got seen much, much quicker. The fifth thing that has been a huge game changer to my maternity leave, I would say, is free and cheap baby groups and baby classes. So I've been so grateful for all of the baby classes that myself and my son have attended. I think it's just a great way to get out of the house, a great way to get him used to being around other children, a great way to do fun activities that we may not be able to do at home or that I wouldn't even think to do at home. And also for me to get out and meet other parents who are in the exact same stage that I am at. Now, I will say not all of the classes that I have attended have been free. There have been many that I have paid for, but there are quite a few also that have been free or really cheap that I've attended, and they've been really, really good. So if this is something that, you know, you want to get out of the house and you want to meet other people and you want to get your baby kind of active in different activities, then I couldn't recommend this enough. The best place I would say to get really plugged into what's going on in your area is your local family centre. So wherever you go to, you know, get your baby weighed, they normally have information about all the classes and services they have available to parents in your area. So the Boots Parenting Club and Emma's Diary are two of the things that I have made really great use of in ways to find out about good offers that are going on and deals, savings on all things baby. I also was signed up to Pampers when I was using Pampers, and I think every 8th or 9th pack you got a free pack, but since switching from Pampers then it's not relevant anymore. But there are lots of different things like that, so just do a bit of a Google search to see what's available out there because there are savings to be had. Another app or service that I have really made use of, both during my pregnancy and now since my son is born, is the Peanut app. It's kind of like a Tinder for mums. You know, many people use it as ways to meet friends, meet mum friends in their area or surrounding areas, or even anywhere in the country, to be honest. I didn't really use it for that. I just find the conversations that happen really interesting. Sometimes people are asking questions that I also am wondering, or they've got tips that I didn't think of. So I think it's just a really helpful app. It's like a mum's net. So I decided to join a group when I was pregnant, based on my due date. And so that group is good because everyone's kind of going through similar milestones at the same time. So have tips according to where your child is at that point. Highly recommend, it could be super useful. And then this one may not be relevant to everybody. It really depends on if you have private insurance or not. I'm somebody who's lucky enough to have private health insurance through my company. And so something that they do for some reason is when you have a baby, they give you an incentive. So I got a £200 payment for having a baby. I guess it's like a gift to you. So yeah, if you do have private health insurance, do check your policies to see if you do get anything. Apparently this is quite common. So yeah, if you do have private health insurance, definitely check that out, because that was just a lovely little bonus to receive after the delivery of my son. And last but not least, take as many pictures and as many videos as you want. My phone is just flooded with pictures and videos of my son. But you know, I know that I'm not going to look back on this and regret that I took too many pictures or too many videos. One of the things I've been using is an app called Family Album, and it's just a way for me to share with a very small group of people, so close family and close friends, pictures and videos of my son, you know, that I wouldn't really necessarily share with the world on Instagram or my wider friends on Instagram. And it's just like an intimate app that they can comment on and see. And one of the things that they do through this app is 8 free prints a month. So the good thing about it is it's encouraged me every single month to print out pictures of each month's happenings. And so I've been developing an album from the moment he was born until now. And so it's really, really great, because I think it's one of those things, photo albums are one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it, and you never get around to doing it. Whereas I've been forced to, because I get 8 free prints a month. I always print out way more than 8, but I get 8 free prints a month. And so I use it and then I put them in the album. So highly recommend this app. I'll link it down below as well if you're interested. I do want to apologise if I've been shiny throughout this video. It's like one of the hottest days of the year. And it's a bit of a struggle, but I hope you did enjoy this video. It's just been such a great time. Honestly, a dream in many ways. And as I said at the beginning, living this part out of my life without the financial strains and financial worries is just great. Not to say that I've got an abundance of cash just sitting around, but because of setting things in place, it's just really taken off the burden of finances, and I've just really been able to focus in on enjoying these special moments with my son. Thank you so much for your support and for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video real soon.